Hey guys, welcome back to Crazy House Performance. I know it's been a long time since you've heard from me and the rest of the team. With that being said, the reason for that is we didn't want to water down our content. We want to bring you the most action-packed content as possible, and we're not getting a lot of feedback down in the comments, so please comment below what you want to see. If you guys want to see more videos from us, let us know, because we definitely do a lot of work. We just don't want to bore you guys, and we're new to this, so we just need a little bit of direction from you guys. With that being said, a lot of us are moving forward on our projects. Keith's almost done. Chris is pretty much done. Dustin's got a new motor. Isaac's working on his. Mosier's truck's pretty much done. And then we got some updates on my truck as well. It will be running here shortly and back in action. So with that all being said, content will start rolling. So you're going to want to tune in and subscribe below. Apologize again for the time that it's been. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. I know it's a couple days after that at this point, but we really appreciate you guys, and happy Father's Day to my father if you're watching this. And let's jump right into the video. We are pulling up to Old Dominion Freight to pick up something pretty big for the truck. All right, so didn't want to film too much inside. Obviously at the freight we got a really nice big box in the back of the Jeep. I should have brought the diesel, but I just decided to bring the beater because it was easy. I've been out here watching some 1320, watching the boys. Woo! So now we're gonna get home and open this box. All right, so we were back at the house. I didn't want to film inside their building due to their rules, or they wouldn't allow me to. So here we are. We got our package. I am pretty excited to see this and see what it looks like. I don't really know how I'm gonna get this out of the back of the car by myself because it's not super heavy. It's just oblong, and it's about, oh, if I remember right, it said 220 pounds or something. So we'll see what I can do to get this thing out, and then we'll open it up. Got it on the ground. So I'm gonna take this piece of wood here. We ain't got nothing. Well, we do inside the garage, but I'm too excited to go in there. So I've been waiting for this for, they said 4 to 6 weeks, and of course, with the way the world is, stuff on back order, it took a lot longer. I had this ordered February, March, end of March, beginning of April, and then the tracking said that it should have been here on Thursday. It is now Sunday, and I talked to Old Dominion where this was coming in and asked them, hey, is there any way I can pick this up during the weekend? And they talked to management, and they had a guy working on Sunday, and they didn't even have it off the truck when I got there this morning. So shout out to Tyler for getting this unloaded at Old Dominion and getting it to me. But this is my first big purchase, and it's a CRT trans from Coke Racing Transmissions. And there's a lot of peanuts in here, but this is supposed to be super bad. So what we're gonna do is get it out of the box, and I guess show you a little bit more. I wasn't expecting to go. Here's the bad boy out of the box. I'm actually gonna walk out here and grab the list of what's in it. They sent me a little care package with a t-shirt and some stickers and their brochure. We're not going to show the people the cost yet. And then, so anyways, pretty sure, yep, that's all of it. So, trans brake, reverse manual with lockup, drag sprag, billet steel front drum, billet steel front planetary with bearings, aluminum rear planetary with bearings, rear roller. See, hardened input shafts, at least on the rear, not the output shaft. The input shaft is factory because they don't make a lockup or hardened input shaft for this. And then clutches, heavy duty band struts, red line bands, rear billet servo, 4.2 second gear lever, deep aluminum pan, billet filter extension, modified pump, Teflon springs, new bushings, neutral switch, cooler lines and fittings. And a couple other things it doesn't say on there is it actually has converter dump. It's plumbed for that to where essentially put the solenoids on it. I was going to go ahead and do that, but he could not find any solenoids with the way the world is right now. So he's got the switch and everything back here. You just, oh wait, that might be the lockup. Oh, so this would be the converter dump. We're gonna have to look into it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna tie into here. I'm new to the transmission stuff, so we'll find out. But reality of it is, this is supposed to be the baddest Mopar trans you can get, and we'll see how it holds up. It's way better than what I had. They're real common for, you know, on factory ones to blow the front drum and grenade the housing here, and that was the biggest reason why I opted to go and do this outside of just buying the converter, which you guys might not have seen. The converter is in as well on my dirty counter over here, bleeding the fluid into it. It's an ultimate torque converter, I believe that's the name of it. Come on, make sure I'm not lying to you. Yep, Ultimate Transmission and Torque Converters. They're based out of Boise, Idaho. They did the anti-ballooning plate, and I think he said it's a 3500 stall. I can't even remember what he said. I'm gonna have to call him. But they built the specs for my truck and the power. It's got the upgraded size flex plate bolts and converter bolts. This should be, oh, and like goes back to lockup. So my little poor man's overdrive, I didn't want to put the extra weight of an overdrive in it, so I just went lockup. It'll give me a couple extra RPM going down the freeway. I think it's like 300 or 400 less RPM, and I was only turning like 32 at 60 anyways. So this should get me down into the 2800, which is a lot better. And we had a lot of converter slip, so like I said, we'll see. There could be a huge change. It might even be down to 2500, and if I see that, I'll be real happy. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of get this mess cleaned up, give you a little look. I took the filter off with the billet spacer. The billet valve body, aluminum, trans brake. It's a nice little piece of work for sure. There's a couple of things I'm gonna have to do that I thought he would get done, but that's, you know, it goes back to busy. I gotta tap a 3/8 MPT fitting for here for a trans fan, and then really after that, all I'm gonna do is probably go buy a nice trans dipstick, so that way I can get rid of the factory one. But otherwise, we're gonna go ahead and tap this and then throw this back together. Right? So I had a long day. Today's Father's Day, so I haven't got to spend a whole lot of time on the truck, but it's the end of the day now, and I got a couple of things done. I didn't film it. I got the trans temp sensor for inside the truck plumbed, and then this is the trans fan cooler that goes to a solenoid and a control box underneath the truck. This is trans brake. I got my 3/8 converted to AN or -6 AN. I've got all the linkage stuff set up for it to go into the truck. Now all I gotta do is put the windage tray and oil pan gasket on this. I'm probably not gonna time lapse it or anything. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and just put it on and kind of get the shop reorganized, and then I'll throw you guys on time lapse as I'm setting it in the truck. All right guys, so got the transmission married, and I'm seeing a little bit of an issue. Supposedly there's supposed to be a 1/4 inch gap between the back of the converter and my flex plate, and it's like kissing, and that's pushed all the way back, so there's no forward. So I'm gonna have to call my converter people in the morning and see what's going on with that, and see if I'm just missing something, especially since I now have a mid plate that I did not have before. That is really odd because the transmission's spaced, and technically I should need a spacer between my flex plate and my converter, and it's not. So something's off. So I'm gonna talk to them in the morning, and it's been a long day, so I'm just gonna clean up this tragic mess and come back in the morning and try to get this thing in the truck. It's next day. I came out here with my little feeler gauge that I got and measured behind the flex plate and the converter, and then called the converter company, and they said that it's supposed to be like 55 thou and we're at 40 thou. He doesn't like that, so he's talking about either making a bigger mid plate, which he said would be easiest, or shimming it. They actually make converter or bellhouse shims, and he's thinking about sending those off to me. So for right now, he told me to hold off. He's gonna see what he can do. If he can get any more clearance, he might just make another converter and send it, or he might send shims. I don't know. I told him I don't really like the shim idea, but he, you know, I made it clear that, you know, I prefer to have, you know, as simple as possible without having to put shims and yada yada yada. We're still waiting on Ultimate Converter or Ultimate Trans to give me a call back and let me know what's going on with the converter solution. So for right now, we got the puppies out here just chilling, hanging out, enjoying the shop out here at Pop. And I figure I'd just give you guys a little update on the truck. I've been meaning to go over some stuff with you guys anyways. We're gonna talk a little bit about how much money I'm into the truck at this point before I start throwing big money at it. This Trans is definitely my first step into full race car. It will always be street, but you know what I mean, as far as dumping more money at it, throwing, you know, big dollars to make it faster, compete, etc. The motor's still staying the way that it is. I want to push it and maximize its efficiency to the best of its ability. But for now, like I said, just walk through and show you some things. I didn't want to bore you guys with boring content, which is why you guys haven't heard from me in a bit. But I got the mid plate mounts in and welded on both sides. I haven't ever had a mid plate. I'm just trying to save the stress on the block because these are solid mounted mounts. And as much as I'm, you know, about to leave on trans brake, I don't want to crack the block, and I'm probably close to that just with working with the power that I'm working with. So that gives it a little bit extra stability. Hopefully will help the longevity of the block in itself, and even just not pull the mounts out of the block. I've also, we'll hop under here, I've updated the bottom of the truck to the best of my ability as of right now. Move the drive line out of the way and get the light under here a little better. So it's always had the fuel dash 8 AN line coming through here, but I didn't have any of these holding it up, so you guys probably wouldn't see it unless you've been under my truck before. But I ran some new dash 6 AN line. There's 2 of them. I think the other one's somewhere in here. There it is. There's the other one. That's my trans line. It runs all the way back over here to the top of the fan, or the side of the cooler in the fan. It's a Derail 1340, I think is the part number. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. It's the same one that Cletus or Doug uses on their drag cars. So it should help keep it cool. I threw some wire loom and everything right here for my power going to my battery box, and cleaned it all up so it's not just exposed wire. And also, this little guy right here is what controls the fan on the trans cooler. So the hole that I tapped into the pan, it goes in there, and then once it reaches the right temp, it clicks this relay and turns the fan on. So that's down here and tucked out of the way and done. Let's see. And then we're gonna go over to the driver's side of the truck. Not a whole lot. Oh, I should grab the flashlight because of course inside my truck is dark. Okay, grab this bad boy. Dogs are looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm over here talking to myself. They're like, Jesus, man's losing it. So, all right. Oops. So I come in here, I have some wires, my trans brake wire and bump box wires, my neutral safety switch wires, and I built this plate, which is a little dirty right now. It's actually polished really nice. I know the camera's probably not gonna pick it up as of right this second, but I built this out of a stop sign. It polished up good, and got the new shifter in. It's a B&M shifter. I had a B&M on the last one too, but this one is a reverse manual shifter. So that's first, second, third. Trans brake, bump box. This will probably become scramble or something. And then I'll have lockup somewhere. I originally planned for it here, but I might just integrate it into the body of the case of the shifter. I got the new trans temp gauge installed, and once that reaches the temperature that I want the fan to come on, I'll go down underneath the truck and turn that little box up and down until the fan comes on, and then every time from then on out it'll turn on. So there's that. I got to finish wiring up some relays and clean these up. Originally there was only 2. I'm still going to do a temporary fix this time, but in the near future I'm just going to build a relay circuit board type deal and get that cleaned up. But overall, the truck is really close. Got a lot of new stuff done. I know that kind of seems minute, but to clean it up, get it out of the way, get it more efficient and effective, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So hopefully, like I said, I'll hear from Ultimate Trans today. Hopefully I have a solution tomorrow, and we'll be filming tomorrow, putting the trans in, maybe start up here in the next day or two. But the next clip you're going to see of us is we're going to be inside. We're going to talk about the build up to this point, not including the transmission. All right, guys, so we're obviously inside. I already went and wrote the list out. It's not in order, but it's okay. We got the gist of it, so I'm going to go jump right into it. I bought the truck from a buddy named Matt for $300. It had a 4-cylinder in it. Obviously, that didn't stay or make the power I wanted, so we moved on from that. Bought the motor, the 5.7 Hemi from the wrecking yard, the local pull and save, for $200. We bought the transmission for $75, also from the local pull and save here in Spokane. I bought a shift kit off Summit for $110, and then took it to our local transmission shop, Mayfield's Transmission. He installed it, the shift kit and everything. That's including the price of the shift kit, $350. And then we move on to the 8 3/4 rear end housing. I bought for $100. And bought axles and spool from Mark Williams for $1,090. And we got the Moon Tune from Brent, of course, for $850. And we got the cam for $360. It's just a regular comp cam. I can't remember the specs on it right now. At the time, it was the biggest one they have. They have a couple more now that are bigger. Springs and retainers was $180. Then we move on to the turbos. We got the turbos from VS Racing for $660. The intercooler came off of Amazon for $200. And then the intercooler accessories and exhaust, with them both combined, I got it off of Silicone Intakes. There it is. Keith pointed me in the direction of them. They're really cheap and have good deals for good quality parts. So the two of those combined was $500. And then we move on to the fuel system. This includes the rails, injectors, line, fittings, and pump were at $1,200, and the computer and harness from EFI Source, the Mega Squirt Gold Box, for $1,550, which brings us to the total of $7,415. This does not include tires. I had some drag slicks on it that were just some used ones that I picked up for $100 that would have done just fine, that I think would have still ran similar times. But when we went to Colorado, I wanted to have a little bit more gear range, so I bought some ET drag slicks, and that, or drag radials, sorry. That brings us up to $7,905. That's the cost to run the 960s. We really know and believe in our hearts that we could have done the 8s for 8s, like Sloppy Mechanics did, but the converter limited us. I had just a converter that I had pretty much for an NA and threw in it, and it just didn't like it. So the new transmission is the start of that adventure. We want to start being more reliable and consistent on our times. We want to take on events like Race Week, and that was just something that had to be done. I was pretty much on a stock transmission. You know, it was freshly rebuilt, of course, but it wasn't anything to brag about. So with that all being said, I appreciate you guys tuning into Crazy House Performance. Please give us a like and subscribe. We'll be seeing you soon. A lot more content coming. And we apologize for taking so long. But thank you again, and we'll see you next time.